All right. What's going on? So, Thursday Night Football. Got a pretty decent game tonight. I think it's mostly going to be a slugfest. I mean, that's what we think. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about each team like normal, talk about what I'm thinking, what my builds are looking like, and we'll go from there. So first of all, this game, we got the Buccaneers versus the Bears. It's a 44.5 total, and right now the Bucs are a -4 favorite. The reason why I'm immediately leaning towards a defensive slugfest, I'm going to tell you why. The Bears are 7th best in DVOA, and the Bucs are 2nd best in DVOA. So we got two high defensive teams going at each other. I think this game's going to be really slow paced. We got the Buccaneers are extremely banged up, and then we have Nick Foles starting for the Bears. I just don't really love that offense already. So I really think this game is going to be really, really slow, and we're going to see a lot of good defensive plays today. So first thing I want to talk about is the Bears. Let's talk about, obviously, I think my favorite play on the slate, like in this game, is my favorite play, hands down. So for the Bears, David Montgomery, 7,800. Obviously, there's no Cohen. Last week, he played 85% of the snaps. And that's a lot. That's true cowbell usage right there. It's true cowbell. The matchup isn't very good, but he should see plenty of targets, and he is a goal line back. So the ceiling is there. The floor is there. I just don't see how he doesn't get there today. Clearly one of my favorite plays in this game today. He's going to be on the field often. There's really nobody really backing him up. We're going to talk about the players that are possibly getting some carries. But Montgomery, hands down, is my favorite, safest play on this whole slate. So he's 7,800, way too cheap. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Let's talk about Cordell Patterson. He's 2,200. He's backed up Montgomery last week. He doesn't look the same anymore. I'm just not really in the Cordell Patterson hype anymore. He's 2,200. I guess if you're running 150 max, why not? There's always insane things can happen. But honestly, I highly doubt we're going to see anything from Cordell today. So it's strictly MME dart. Another running back to keep your eyes on. I'm really interested in if we're going to get any news, if he's going to get more carries today or what's going to happen. But Ryan Nall, $200. He could literally do nothing. Like he could maybe get one carry, and that wouldn't help us at all. But it's just someone to keep your eye on. So that's something that I'll be updating Slack in as much as I can if I find out any news that the usage is going to be there. If he's going to be the running back 2 and get us 8 to 10 carries, or 6 to 8, I'll have some interest in that. But as of now, just one of those darts. I wouldn't go too heavy on that. So as you can see, the running back situation for the Bears is strictly Montgomery. Like Montgomery right there. He's going to be the cowbell tonight. I guarantee he's going to get a rushing touchdown. I'm just seeing the work is safe. The ceiling is great. The floor is fine. I love David Montgomery. Nick Foles. I want to talk about Nick Foles. It does seem like he's going to start again. His matchup sucks. He's $10,000. That's a little expensive for my liking, but at least he has a floor, right? And that's kind of what we're looking for in these showdowns, is that we're looking for players who will consistently get us points. And Nick Foles is that guy. He has a floor. He can easily throw a touchdown. He can easily throw 2 touchdowns. It is what it is. But I don't think he's the must today. Unless you are building lineups that line up that Nick Foles is going to be having to throw often. So Nick Foles, you put him in lineups that the game's script fits him. Because I highly doubt that this game's going to be a shootout. So I wouldn't play both together. That would maybe be a cash strategy, but even with that, I would prefer Tom Brady over Nick Foles. So Nick Foles is kind of on my lower tier plays tonight. Let's talk about wide receivers. Allen Roberson, $10,600. He's expensive as shit. He's more expensive than Nick Foles. He's expensive, and his matchup really isn't the greatest. It really isn't. But what is so awesome about him, what makes him elite in this game, is that his volume is there, and he's averaging 9+ targets a game. So regardless of the matchup, regardless of what they're doing, he's continuing to get fed. 9 targets, this target. You know what I mean? So the volume is elite. the price reflects that. I like Allen Robinson, especially if you're running, some Bear stacks. I necessarily don't think you need to have Nick Foles with A-Rob today, just because of the pricing difference. But if you would like to, I think it would work. But Allen Robinson, regardless of the matchup, elite play today. The volume is there. He should easily score today. I think he was the highest odds to score. Still, the odds were like plus 600, I think. So Vegas even thinks this game is going to be low scoring. So he'd be my favorite safe value, or my favorite safe play on the Bears besides Montgomery, obviously. The second wide receiver I want to talk about is Darnell Moon, 4,600. His snap count has increased as the weeks have gone on, which is great to see. We like to see that. But he hasn't done much with that snap count. He hasn't done much with that, but easily that could turn into what we need, right? Today could be the day. He's getting the snap counts. He's getting, he's getting the looks, and he's pretty cheap at 4,600. So I like Darnell Mooney. I think he's definitely someone that you need to have in your player pool, especially if you are leaning towards, a Bears onslaught or whatever you're trying to do. I really think he needs to be a part of that. So Darnell Mooney, good play. And here's the next player I think a lot of people are going to play. Anthony Miller. He played 69% of the snaps last week. He played 69% of the snaps, but he only saw 5 targets, and Foles threw 42 times. So is that based off Foles in that matchup? Possibly. Is Foles just not going to look his way? Possibly. But this makes Anthony Miller, to me, an elite GPP play. The reason why, because we know what his ceiling is. He has a pretty decent ceiling, right? He could definitely get there. If he's given the opportunities, if he's given the volume, he could get there, and he can get there quickly. At 6,400, that is someone I would definitely take a shot at if I was playing multiple lineups, because he could easily score a touchdown for us and do what we need from him. But he's just very unpredictable. We really don't know what we're going to get from him. Just like I said, last week he played a shit ton of snaps, but only saw 5 targets. That just doesn't help us in fantasy. We need the players who are consistently getting volume. And Anthony Miller is definitely hit or miss. So, Anthony Miller, okay. He's an okay play. Tight end, Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham's having a decent year, right? He looks good so far this year. He has 3 touchdowns in 4 games. 3 touchdowns in 4 games. That's pretty good. Like, finally he's on a team that's going to use him correctly, right? At 6,800, the problem is his price, in my opinion. If he doesn't score, we're screwed, right? We need that score. He doesn't get a lot of volume. I know last week he saw like 10 targets, I think, which is crazy. But I don't see that as being a weekly thing. And at 6,800, I think they definitely raised the price because of that. So honestly, Jimmy Graham would be more of like just a player to throw in your pool. I'm not super on him. I believe, again, his odds to score touchdowns like plus 6,000. So I mean, it's just not my favorite play. But here we are. So Jimmy Graham is okay. Like, the Bears today are okay. Some MME plays would be Ted Ginn. He had 6 targets this year. Javon Wims, 5 targets. Demetrius Harris, 7 targets. Obviously, I would prefer Ted Ginn because you can easily catch that deep bomb and get you what you need. And he's only, I think, $200 on DK. So you could do worse, I guess. But again, I probably wouldn't be too interested in these guys. It's not my favorite. I don't think this game is going to be that type of way. But anyways, as you can tell, the Bears are just not a sexy team for me. I would probably just focus on David Montgomery. I would probably just lock him in, put him in your captain spots, put him in flex spots. That's where I'm going to be going. I'll probably just be 100%, to be honest with you. And then I would probably have quite a bit of Robinson and Mooney. Those would be the guys I'd be really looking at. But Montgomery should be a staple for your lineups tonight. Like, don't overthink it. All right, so those are the Bears. Talk about the Bucs. The Bucs got some injury issues that we got to talk about, but we'll get there. Let's talk about this. We're talking about the Bucs running backs. Ronald Jones. Ronald Jones has 68% of the snaps last week with Fournette out. Fournette is now doubtful today. He also saw 9 targets with 6 catches. I'm believing he will see the same workload. He will see the same workload today. I do see we'll see some dump passes. I think he can easily score. I really like Ronald Jones today. I think he is literally my top 3 play on the slate as well. Love Ronald Jones. The matchup isn't great, but it doesn't matter. Feed me the volume, and I like that. The next one I'll talk about is Keyshawn Vaughn. The reason why I like Keyshawn Vaughn today is because LaShawn McCoy is doubtful. Actually, I think I saw it again. He's out. LaShawn McCoy is out, so that means Keyshawn Vaughn is going to be the backup, and he's going to get the backup carries. He backed up Jones last week, and he has 6 carries for 23 yards and a touchdown. At $1,000, he's a fine punt. Love it. And honestly, in this game, I don't think I would be totally against with running Jones and Vaughn together because of the injuries that the Bucs are going through right now. So I really like both. I think they both can get there, and we can get a Vaughn touchdown today. We're sitting pretty, boys. So love Jones, love Vaughn. All right. Now let's talk about Mike Evans. It's going to be the very chalky play, and I don't hate him for it. But Mike Evans, he's battling a lingering ankle injury. I don't think he's been fully healthy this year at all. In this matchup today, he's going to be needed. He's going to be needed, and the Bears do struggle a lot defending perimeter wide receivers. He's going against Jalen Johnson, who I think is meh. And like I said, the Bears struggle to cover the perimeter. He is in play. I like Mike Evans. Let me say this before I talk. I like Mike Evans. The only issue that I'm having is that he is not healthy. He is not healthy. He could easily be limited today. He could play 70% of the snaps. He could play less than that. We don't really know. He's not a healthy guy. I believe I watched him score, was it last week? And he limped into the end zone. I'm struggling with the price. I'm struggling with the unknown factors. I just don't really know. I will have him in my pool, obviously. I mean, you can't fade, elite wide receivers. I think Mike Evans is really good. But I'm really concerned about this ankle. I think it's really going to hurt him more than what people think. So for me personally, I'm going to take a stand and probably go under the field. But yeah, Mike Evans, good spot. He's hurt, sucks. But we kind of have to take a stand here. The next guy I want to talk about is Scotty Miller. Scotty Miller, he's 7K. With Watson out, Scotty Miller is now a good play to me. Scotty Miller, he has Watson out, Godwin out. I mean, they're going to need him. He is expensive, but he's been seeing some good work. Last week, he had 7 targets, 5 catches, 1 touchdown, and 83 yards. Again, he is tad expensive, but if they are going to be playing from behind, they're going to have to throw the ball often. I like Scotty Miller. I think he's fine. I wouldn't make him a priority. I still think he's the same player that we know Scotty Miller is, and that's kind of why I think he is a little bit expensive. But if you want to get a little riskier in GPPs, you can fade Evans for Miller and see what happens. I don't think that is a horrible idea. So Scotty Miller, I can't say I'm going to have a lot, but I will say I'll have a little bit. So again, if you're running one lineup, probably fade him. If you're running 3, I would probably fade him. But if you're running, more than that, I think running some Scotty Miller is a smart idea. So the wide receiver 3 today, and it's going to be extremely choppy. Tyler Johnson, he's $200. I know that he's $200, and I know that it's just like, Frank, well, we need to lock that in, right? Well, the only issues that I'm having with that is that we don't know what he's going to do. The Bucs run 12 personnel at almost 40%, right? They play a lot of freaking players. So just because Tyler Johnson is starting doesn't mean he's going to get the consistent snaps. It doesn't mean he's going to get the looks. It doesn't mean he's going to get the volume. He may end up with 1 point. He may end up with 0. So Tyler Johnson, I really am not on that train. Again, if you're running 150, sure, why not? Get some exposure. But again, if you're running less than 10, less than 5, I probably wouldn't have much. If you have less than 5, I don't want any of them. So Tyler Johnson, I'm leaning towards fade. That's what I'm leaning. He's an okay play, but just very risky. All right. Okay, let's talk about tight ends. We know that O.J. Howard is done for the year. He is done. Torn ACL, right? So now we have Rob Gronkowski and Cameron Breit. We're going to talk about Rob Gronkowski first. Rob Gronkowski is 5,800. He's playing a ton of snaps. He's playing. He's on the field. The only issue is that he only has 7 targets. He has 7 targets this year. Obviously, that could change quite a bit with damn, Loriano just hit his 2nd home run. Fuck you, Astros. Yeah, I said it. He has 7 targets so far, but with Howard out, I definitely think that could definitely go up. I mean, obviously they're going to need him, especially today, since Godwin's out and Watson is out and Evans is banged up. I really think that they're going to have to lean on somebody. And what would Brady want to lean on? His friend Rob Gronkowski. As of right now, I'm pretty sure Gronkowski is plus 1,000 to score, so Vegas doesn't really think he's going to score. But if I had to take a guess, I could see it being a possibility, but again, very risky in my opinion. The next guy I kind of like a little bit more because of his price. His price makes me a little bit happier. Cameron Breit, 3,800. He should definitely see an increase in work as well with Howard done. So both of these guys should see some work today. I really do. I really think they both could see work. Cameron Breit is 3,800, and he could see 5 to 6 catches, 4 to 5 catches, and I would be ecstatic. I would be happy. That would make me happy. So, so far this year, Cameron Breit has 1 catch for 3 yards and a touchdown. And I guarantee you everyone who's box score lurking will see that and go, nope. But you guys got to be smarter than that. Got to be smarter than that. Got to get some Cameron Breit. Is he a must? No, I don't think so. But I think he's definitely someone that you need to have in your player pool. Cameron Breit is a decent play. So, first of all, if I'm going to rank the players on both sides, I'm going to talk about the Bears first. If I had to rank, the players in order of my liking, it would obviously be Allen Robinson. No, I'll take that back. Montgomery would be my number 1 play. Allen Robinson, Mooney, Miller, and Jimmy Graham. Those would be my top plays in order. I'm telling you guys, I'm probably just going to lock in Montgomery. I'm probably just going to lock him in, whether it's in the captain spot or the flex spot. I just don't see how he doesn't get there today. We're talking about a game that's going to be slow paced, 2 top defenses in the league. I don't see a lot of action happening. But, I mean, Tom Brady could easily do that. I get that. But for the Bears side, I just don't see it happening. The only way for the Bears to win today is to slow this game down as slow as it can. Because Tom Brady is going to be Tom Brady, and Tom Brady is going to do Tom Brady things. So I think for the Bears to win, they need Montgomery to do what he's been doing. Ball out. So I love Montgomery today. Why I think Allen Robinson is still an elite play like we discussed. The volume is there. He's getting all the looks. And especially if Brady is, the Bucs are up by 20 points, Foles is going to have to throw. Who else are you going to throw to? Allen Robinson. They're going to target him early and often. So that's why I really like Allen Robinson. Mooney's a great value play. I definitely would probably have him with my, if you're stacking your lineups based off the fact that the Bucs are going to be so far ahead, I think you need to have him with that. So you can go Montgomery or A-Rob, Mooney. Wouldn't be a bad idea. And then obviously Anthony Miller, super GPP, very inconsistent, but he has a great ceiling. We know what he can do when he goes off. So Anthony Miller is a fine play. And then last but not least, Jimmy Graham. Mr. 3 touchdowns so far this year. He's fine, just expensive in my opinion. And he's my 4th ranked Bears player. As for the Bucs, I would go Ronald Jones, Evans, Miller, Breit, and Gronk. That's how I rank them. The reason why I like Breit over Gronk is purely based off price. I think he's too cheap for the looks he should see today. But, I think both are fine. All right. Talk about captains. My captains for cash, pretty simple. Brady, Montgomery, Jones, Evans, and kickers. I think all of them are viable for cash. I think they're fine. I think they're great plays. Brady's would be an excellent play because like I said, the Bucs run 12 personnel. He's spreading the ball out often. A lot of the players are banged up. I can see the offense just being spread. So Brady as your captain wouldn't be a dumb decision at all. Montgomery, obviously, you guys know he's my favorite play on the slate. I think he can easily get there. They're going to need him to win today. Ronald Jones, love him too. Again, another running back who's going to get insane usage. No McCoy, no Fournette, and then a rookie backup. I mean, I just don't see why he wouldn't be a 3-down back. I just wouldn't see it. And then obviously Mike Evans, but again, you guys know how I feel about that. I think he's a little bit riskier, but he will be chalk. And so I think he's fine for a captain play in cash. And then obviously kickers. Kickers allow you to do a lot with your lineups. You can play, a kicker, both quarterbacks, running backs, whatever you want to do. They allow you to do a lot. So that would be my captains for cash. For GPP, Mike Evans is my top GPP. The only reason why I say that because I'm concerned with the ankle. I don't think he's safe today. I really don't. So he'd be a GPP play for me. My second one would be A-Rob. Love him today. Obviously, you guys know that. Ronald Jones and then Montgomery. I think Jones and Montgomery will have a little more ownership, I would think. I would think people are sharp enough to know that, but I wouldn't be surprised. And then anyone after that for GPP would be like Mooney, Miller. If you play those value players, it allows you to play the studs that you want to play, right? But again, I would probably just stick to the running backs and Brady, to be honest. That's probably what I'm looking. Also, in this game, I don't think playing two defenses together would be a horrible idea, especially if you think this game is going to be slow-paced and if you think this game is not going to be that offensive-friendly for us. I don't think it's an awful idea at all. I definitely think having some defenses in your lineups would be essential. What I'm going to try to do is build my lineups based off the fact that, I might run a Ronald Jones captain with the Buccaneers defense and then kind of just go from there, because kind of telling me that the Bears are going to have to throw the ball often, and what happens when teams have to try to catch up, mistakes are happening, interceptions, fumbles, sacks, it just happens. So when you are building your lineups today, base them around the game script, base them around game theory. Come to your mind and say, okay, this lineup, I'm going to think that the Bucs are up by 20 and Foles is going to have to do something. So if the Bucs are up by 20, most likely you want to have Ronald Jones as your captain because, that's what I'm saying. So this game is interesting. I'm actually kind of excited for it. I think we have a nice little edge. I really think I'm going to go under the field on Evans, guys. I think that's what I'm going to do. If that bites me in the ass, oh well. But I really could see him getting hurt again. I could see it happening, guys. But other than that, I hope you guys win a lot of money today. If you have any questions, hit me up at DFS headquarters or hit me up on Twitter at Vigo07. I'm definitely down to help you guys out. Other than that, have a good night. Make some money. See you on the other side.